My name is AP Logic, and for the past 2 years I've been grinding Overwatch to become the best player that I possibly can. I recently hit a new peak of GM3, mainly playing Winston, and this is everything that I've learned so far. Now, I'm just some random ranked chud, so take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I'm not a pro player, I'm not an authoritative figure in this scene. This is just some guy who's been improving for the past 2 years and just wants to show what he's learned so far. If you enjoy this type of video, do not subscribe. This is not a very common video that I'll be making. I will keep posting videos of stream highlights and random other goofy moment stuff that happens. I just figured I would do something like this because one of my chatters asked me to do it, and I thought it was a pretty good idea, so this is why I'm doing it. That's about it. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you. Originally I was going to do like a script and stuff like this and do like a voiceover, but then I decided that would kind of be, I don't want to do that. I've done that in the past and it doesn't feel as genuine. So I'm just going to kind of, I have a general idea of what I want to talk about. I'm just going to kind of rip it and then I'll just edit it down, post, edit. This probably won't even make it into them. So the first thing I want to talk about is hard engaging and soft engaging. In my opinion, this is the most important part of Winston. He has a very simple kit of jump, bubble, and he can zap from far and close. It's a very simple kit, but it's very nuanced because it's about not necessarily kit size, but what you do with it. Jump, bubble, right? It's very simple, but very complex and nuanced. One thing that is very important about Winston is hard engages and soft engages. You typically, with Winston, you have to soft engage first before you hard engage, okay? Now what do I mean? Soft engage is basically using jump to take space around the map or to rotate around the map, barely like using any of your resources. Now resources is stuff like your cooldowns, so for Winston, jump and bubble, and then HP pool, so Winston has a little bit of armor, and then his base health is about 625, and then ammo sometimes, right? All these are a factor. Now for Winston, once again, very simple. It's about how you use the resources. What you can't do on Winston is you can't just hard engage every time at the start of every fight because of a lot of reasons. Let me get into those reasons. So Winston, unfortunately, has a lot of cooldowns that can stop him. He doesn't have a lot of BS, right? He doesn't necessarily have a DM that can eat everything, or a Sigma Grasp or a Sigma Shield that he can throw at people. There's a lot of cooldowns out there that can stop Winston, right? So typically on Winston, you want to soft engage and bait out those cooldowns before you hard engage. So typically what I do is, my general rule of thumb is I want to soft engage at least once before I hard engage. Now that will get you really far, right? That'll probably get you from diamond to masters, okay? That'll get you from plat to diamond, right? And that's what you want to hear, right? Is all these educational YouTubers tell you that if you do this one simple trick, you'll get from here to here, right? And while I am kind of promising that right now, that's not entirely true, because there's so much unbelievable nuance that goes into this goddamn game that it will only take you so far. It will only do so much for you. But that is the basic essential thing, is whenever you understand what a soft engage means and a hard engage means, and you put those together, and then you soft engage once before you hard engage, you will succeed and you will do better than what you are currently doing right now, especially if you didn't know about that. What does a soft engage look like? There should be background footage playing, okay? Hollywood high ground, first point. Everybody knows it, right? Everybody knows it's a good power position. Everybody knows to play it. From bronze, I'm pretty sure I could go into bronze lobby and I could go into Hollywood bronze lobby and I would see somebody playing that goddamn high ground. Everybody knows that it's the power position. Now on Winston, it is your job to typically, because this is a very nuanced game, unless they have the Reaper Bastion on a brig on that high ground, you do not jump that high ground. But in most situations, they typically just have a DPS. You typically want to soft engage onto that high ground and then drop back. So if we look at the footage that I'm playing right now, showing this as an example, you can see that I jump onto that high ground, and it's not contested, actively contested, but what it does do is it forces them to look at me, right? I take visual aggro off of my team, and everybody looks at me, including the Winston, who jumps on me. But notice how I don't use my bubble and I don't take a ton of damage. I take maybe a little bit too much damage, but I don't take a ton of damage. I force out the Winston cooldown, I force out some other cooldowns, I'm sure, at some point, right? And then I back up, okay? And that is exactly how it needs to be done, pretty much every single time. Does that burst engage? you jump, you take map space, you take visual aggro, you take as little poke as possible, and you force out their cooldowns. And that is what we call a positive resource trade. And that's what we want to see in our Overwatch competitive games, is fair, honest Overwatch like Winston. I hate Hazard so much. He's such a Moving on. What I want to talk about next is exactly what I just talked about, which is baiting. I just discussed this, but it has a different word now, okay, where I'm calling it baiting. It's kind of basically just the same thing. First of all, look at that Super TF gameplay, bro. What a goat, am I right? This guy's really good at the game. He's kind of my inspiration, bro. Baiting. So, baiting is essential to Winston. Like I just said, you got to force out cooldowns. There's a lot of cooldowns out there that can delete Winston. So you got to be careful. You got to bait. You got to soft engage, right? So baiting is soft engaging to a degree, but there's different ways to do it. So like I said, I gave the Hollywood example, right? Where I jumped onto the high ground and I baited out their cooldowns, right? That's baiting. Baiting can also look like walking up to a choke. Walking, not jumping, right? You got to save that. You got to save that cooldown. This is soft engage. Sometimes soft engages can be without jumps on Winston, right? I want to make that very clear. Is if you walk up to a corner, like an absolute Giga Chad, you donk walk up there, and then you plop your giant cock onto the corner, right? And you intimidate them, and they all get crazy and they start coming at you, and then you jump out, right? And you get off that corner, okay? That's baiting, right? Especially if you baited out the cooldowns. That is essential. That can happen a lot, okay? Baiting. Very essential. Moving on. So map control / tempo. Now this is more of a high level, nuanced type of concept here, okay? And I don't expect everybody to understand this. So I'm going to ramble about this for a couple minutes and then move on, right? Because you might not understand this. Because quite honestly, I don't understand it. It's actually something I'm learning right now. So the way I understand tempo is typically you want to be moving a lot. That's what I understand is it's not necessarily jumping. Kind of my solution to having a higher tempo as I got into higher elo lobbies. Like I was a really slow player in lower elo lobbies, and then my buddy was like, hey, play faster. And so I was like, okay, bet. And I started jumping off cooldown. That's not necessarily the best solution, but it did help me a little bit with having a higher tempo. Tempo is kind of a hard concept to explain because once again, I don't understand it really. You know, if there's a pro player out there, please let me know. Yo, come coach me. Tell me what tempo actually means because I don't freaking get it, bro. I don't get it. I swear I'd just be inting. Let's talk about counters because, god damn it, you're going to run into a lot of counters, especially in lower elo. Okay. Even in higher elo, I run into the counters, but not quite like it is in lower elo. They swap instantaneously. If you roll out on Winston and they lose that first fight, you better believe they're coming out of spawn on Reaper, Bastion, Hog, Brigana, and they are going to come out swinging. So you have to be ready for it. Do you need to swap off Winston? No. Is it a smart idea? Yes. But can you play into it? You certainly freaking can. And let me tell you exactly how. Is putting all of these theories together and then slowing it down by about 30 seconds. Because there's about 17,000 cooldowns that you need to get out before you can beat these players on those heroes. So in this example is of counters is Hog, Reaper, Bastion, Brig, Ana. That is what I ran into the most as a full counter comp. Whenever they couldn't figure out how to beat me, they would swap to all 5 of those heroes. That's most commonly what I saw. There are other counter heroes, but that's what I found, me personally. So the way to play this is, like I said, slow it down, guys. Slow it the frick down. Bait more, soft engage more. You don't want to do anything crazy here because guess what? You jump to high ground, Reaper TPs on you, 2 shots you, dead, gone. 625 HP plus armor, dead, gone. Bubble, gone, right? Same thing. Jump into the backline. Reaper's there. Once again, he's still there, right? Bastion shifts, on a nade, sleep, break flail, bash, freaking inspire, right? Hog hook, right? You're dead. There's no surviving that. So the key to playing into hard counters is you want to pretty much never hard engage. Your goal is, oh shoot, Super just won. Good for him, bro. He went 28-8. That's a goat right there. Anyway, hard counters, bro. That shit can be so miserable. But if you play it right, you can be Thanos. Because the reality is that if they are hard counter swapping you, that means that their attention is on you, which means you need to let your team cook. This is where you become, frick bro, my hair. This is where you become practically useless and you let your team take over, okay? If they are using all their resources and constantly looking at you, that is so much free visual aggro that they're just gifting to you like this on a silver platter. They'll like take all my attention and all my resources just like that, right? That is beautiful. That is exactly what we want. And your job is to just live. You want to play slow, jump on high grounds, jump around the map, play away from the hog. You never want to play into hog, okay? Hog deletes you on Winston. Never play into hog. Play away from the hog as much as you possibly can. Play away from the Reaper. Play away from the Bastion until the resources are drained, and then we take a late fight spike, okay? And if you play it right, you should have high HP, you should have your bubble, and you should have a jump for the right time, right? Because you are constantly soft engaging and you aren't wasting your cooldowns like a good boy, like what we just talked about. You're constantly soft engaging and you weren't taking a ton of poke and you weren't taking a ton of damage and you weren't getting your bubble force, okay? Like a good little boy that you are, because you're a logic viewer, okay? And logic viewers have logic, okay? We carry logic proud with us, okay? Baiting is essential into counters. And this goes for pretty much any counter into Winston. Most counters are reliant on their cooldown. If you can bait out that cooldown just by living, if you can just live, baby, right? Living on a prayer, then you win that game every single time. Because the reality is that in 5v5, a lot of people focus tank. And so if you, as a tank player, can just live, you will succeed. You'll do better than their tank, because their tank tries to get kills. But if you just try to live, you will win the game. And that's about it, baby. If you liked it, though, you can leave a like and a comment and let me know what you think, and let me know if you think that anything that I said was wrong. If you want to let me know what tempo means, I'd appreciate that. Any high elo players / pro players / coaches, let me know. If you know how to beat Hazard, please let me know, because I don't know how to beat him, bro. That character's so broke. He might just be broken, but I just don't get it, bro. Hazard is my worst matchup by far on any tank, really. I mean, I try to play Sega, it doesn't work right. Thanks for watching and listening to my TED Talk. Toodles. See you later, Super.
We're staged really far forward with us.
To farm like 3 ults. They're gonna have to 4 ults in the next fight too, I think.
Yeah.
They're going tired.
Monkey's over here. Soju's both sides. Social sides.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
They went monkey top.
I'm on the Kiri, Kiri dead.
Soj, headshot.
Winnable. I almost had primal.
You gotta get primal.
I had to get the blink.
Soj dead.
You need a primal, I can't dodge.
Low one!
Echo!
What's up?
You gotta touch.
Lou one. Lou needs to die. One. Echo. Echo one, nice. Winston.
It's not over yet. Inside. Get Soj.
Soj. Oh my god, I'm him! Look at me! I'm him! Oh my god!
This guy gets pudgy.
Somebody give me head now! Somebody give me head!
Dude, I was messing top. I was like, holy shit, this guy's carrying the fuck out. Losing.
I can't, bro. Oh my god.
The fact that you won that, holy shit.
Dude, that
so
was
clutch.
insane.
You were like,
That was
you were
insane.
Like juggling on fucking 0.01
I
years.
know, dude. I know.
Jesus Christ.
GG's.